One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and earth, the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Happy freaking Topless Taco Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, great to have everyone here. Thank you guys for showing up and hanging out with us. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you guys decided to be right here with me, man. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way in. We have kind of a big, a huge lineup today. There was so much shit going on in the media right now, so we're going to try to consolidate a whole bunch of shit, and we have a lot of stories to get through. And we're about to actually see Trump go live here in a matter of minutes regarding his cabinet meeting that he's holding. But we don't have that yet, but it should be coming out here in the next few minutes. But we do have a crazy lineup for you guys. So we'll allow that cabinet meeting to kind of, get rolling, and we're going to do the news, and then we'll catch up with the cabinet meeting towards the end. But what we do have a lineup for you guys is not only the cabinet meeting, Israel regrets deadly mishap, which is regarding the journalists, as well as removing the federal governor. So, of course, we're going to elaborate on all this. But what we're going to get to in the beginning here, I'm going to give you guys a little timeline of what we're talking about here. We're going to talk a little bit about President Trump's executive order on the flag burning and what it means for individual freedom, as well as we have a judge temporarily blocks the Kilmar Abrigo Garcia's deportation. Now, of course, this is a temporary hold or block, so I'm sure we're going to see here within the next days or coming days that this guy's going to be totally deported. It's just going to happen. Nonetheless, then we have Trump that said he's removing the federal governor, Lisa Cook, as well as, of course, the Israel regrets deadly mishap at Gaza's Nasser hospital, Netanyahu says. And then we have U.S. officials discuss Middle East tensions, as well as now only an hour ago, Trump says Putin avoiding meeting with Zelensky. He doesn't like him. Then, last but not least, we have Duffy unveils CDL English rule, which is truck drivers, English rules after illegal migrant takes deadly U-turn. So, of course, this is all coming out pretty quickly. So make sure you guys come in and, before we get into all of it, make sure you guys hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. And listen, if you guys are brand new to the channel here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But this is the money part. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is the way that we get to speak the way that we do, and we're 100% funded by you guys. If we were relying on advertisement after the news is breaking, dude, we wouldn't be making anything. We'd be making like $150. No cap, you know what I mean?
Stop the cap.
So I really can't help you, thank you guys enough for your guys' contribution to the channel. A little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. And it's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one, so make sure you guys follow me over there. We have a Discord as well for all of you legends up in the building. We all hang out in there, whether that's in the middle of the night or if it's during the day, man. So make sure you guys join up. It's in the link in the description down below. Make sure you guys check that out. And last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all of these things are, of course, going to be brought up onto the show and presented live and shouted out. But of course, if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And of course, I'll read it out loud. I have our freaking email up right here right now. So of course, if anything comes up, I will read that. Real quick, before we get into it, man, Gorilla Biscuits comes in to the channel before we'd even started, like an hour before we started. And he sends in a membership, man. He drops it like it's hot, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you for that time, sir. As well as Tats, right in the beginning of the show, she also dropped a membership in the beginning of the show. I really can't thank you enough for that. Helps out immensely. And we also have Brother K2, keep on trucking, saying no English, no CDL, no foreigners, lowering the wages of American truckers. Yes, sir, I agree with that. K2, also, thank you very much for your kind contribution to the channel. It helps out immensely, my man. So thank you for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great to see everyone up in here. Listen, you guys definitely make this worth every bit of it, so I really can't thank you guys enough. We got Brother K2, keep on trucking up in here. We got Steve Easy. We got Tiffany Lance. Great to see you guys. We got Gary as well. We got, let's see here. We got Brother Frank, my man. Great to see you. We got Sick Bastard up in here as well. Dark Horse, Roll Tide, baby. Good to see you. We got TVT, my man. Great to see you as well up there in Canada. Hook Dog, my man, over there in Cali. Great to see you. Brother AU as well, man. Great to see you guys for Topless Taco Tuesday. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get right into it. We have a huge lineup here, so let's just get to it.
You were just looking at that live vantage point there at the White House. That's where we want to take our next story. So, as you know, you were watching President Trump. He had many events today there in the White House, especially in the Oval Office. Remember, he was meeting with the leader of the Republic of Korea. We're getting into that a little bit.
And I actually saw the meeting of Trump and the South Korean new leader over there. And this is their first meet, in person, face to face, which was cool to see for sure. And then he actually introduced him to the quote unquote fake media, which is fake news, which is hilarious.
But later on, we have a lot of international headlines to get to. But this has kind of sparked conversation, something President Trump said, specifically when it comes to burning the American flag and what type of criminal penalties he thinks that should bring with it here. So the president today signing an executive order requiring the Justice Department to investigate and...
Right. So here's the thing. Some people don't understand how this whole executive order is working. It's not like, hey, we're going to put you in jail, and that's what it says in the executive order, if you burn the flag. That's not what it says. Basically, what Trump is doing is putting an executive order to have the First Amendment, they're trying to see what the actual First Amendment limitations are there, and if it's breaching it. Now, Trump is using the excuse, or whatever you want to call it. He's labeling it that it is giving an act of violence or inciting violence. I'm sorry, not an act of violence. It's inciting violence, and that's where the issue lies. So I'll leave it up to you guys what you guys think about that. But always remember, if you're going to penalize one side for something radical, they're going to punish your side for your side of what they think is radical. So just always remember that. There's a rubber band effect for everything.
Prosecute people for burning the American flag. It's an activity that the U.S.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
You are definitely gay.
You are gay.
The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled is legitimate political expression protected by the U.S. Constitution, protected by the First Amendment here. So if you didn't catch this earlier today, this was the moment President Trump brought this up in the Oval Office. Let's watch this.
All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad...
Real quick, we got TVT dropping it like it's hot as well, my man. Up there in Canada. Really appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you for the contribution to the channel.
court I guess it was a 5-4 decision. They called it freedom of speech, but there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy.
Yep, and I did see that, by the way, Steve. He says, a judge ruled a few weeks ago that burning the Israeli flag was hate speech. So I saw this, or see this coming next. And yeah, you know, it's interesting where they could actually, a judge would rule that when we can do that legally here now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's obvious. It's obvious. Yeah, of course it's hate speech. Of course it's a type of hate speech. I agree with it. But at the same point, you can't ban something that is legal here already. If you're going to have this, then it's got to be illegal to burn all flags kind of thing, and not just the Israeli flag, right? Anyways, back to this. Sorry.
But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that,
What
Claire.
the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
I don't know. Okay, it was their side cutting out, not us. Good.
President Trump there kind of elucidating what he thinks the penalty should be via this executive order. Though in the meantime, we do want to bring into the conversation right now someone who knows a lot about this, Chief Counsel with the Foundation for Individual.
You know, I understand what you just said there, Blair, but here's the thing. The act of actually burning the flag is not the violence or it's not the inciting violence. It's what incites violence is what you said, burning buildings and looting and robbing and shit like that. That's all illegal. You can't be doing none of that shit, right? But the flag is separate from the act of burning buildings and looting. Yeah, I agree that if you're looting buildings or looting businesses and burning buildings, dude, you're a fucking terrorist. You know what I mean? Real quick, we got freaking Carney over there on the Facebook side and saying, obey.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit. He said it.
Oh shit!
Anyways, back to this. Let's get the likes up, everybody. I really appreciate your guys' laborious work on hitting that like button.
Rights and Expression, otherwise known as FIRE. Bob Kornrevere, he joins me. Bob, good to see you here. I know you've been following this all day, especially because this kind of rears its head every so often in the national discourse here. Let's just start first up, square off with this. How does a president make this illegal unilaterally via an executive order? Can he do?
No. The executive order is just to understand the well, he wants it to be his interpretation of the First Amendment. I just so everyone knows, I am highly against anybody burning the American flag. I think you are a disgrace. You're a piece of shit. I do believe that. Now, do I believe it's your fucking right to do it? Yes, I do think it's your right. There are people that go, you can ask military vets. They're like, I went overseas to fight for your right to be able to even do that in the first place. You know what I mean? Now, I never served in the military, and I will never make that claim, but I can definitely tell you, at least from anecdotal experience, how people have explained it to me that were in the military.
Well, he can't do it legal. It's a settled question constitutionally. The Supreme Court has not once, but twice made it clear
Interesting,
that
Blair.
not only does the First Amendment protect this burning a flag as a expression of political protest, but when Congress tried to pass a law, that too was found to be unconstitutional. And so you can't paper over that with an executive order.
So this was some while back.
All right, so we don't need to hear any more about this. You guys got my take. You guys understand that what is happening with the First Amendment there. We don't necessarily need to hear this guy go into a 10-minute analysis about it. We understand the fact there, and we're going to go ahead and move on into the next ordeal. And yeah, Trump is definitely trolling the fuck out of the left. He definitely is, 100,000%. He's definitely a shit stirrer for sure. He definitely enjoys it. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into the temporary block that happened. The judge put on a temporary block for Garcia's deportation, who we were speaking about yesterday at the ICE protest. Then the guy gets arrested, and then they wind over the top to the public about the guy. Now a judge temporarily blocked the deportation, but of course, you know that this guy at the end of the day is going to get deported. I don't care what, whatever smaller judge down there has to say. It doesn't matter, bro.
And welcome back here to live now from Fox. Live picture there at the White House. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks for being with us. Let's keep it moving with more of these top headlines, including those on the subject of illegal immigration. Our next one takes us to Baltimore. Earlier today, Kilmar.
Yeah, I think if you're inciting, saying, death to America while you're here, yeah, that's, I think that would absolutely, when you say death to America, I don't look at that as a political, I look at that as now you're breaching and going into violence, whether this is inciting violence or whatever the case is. That's where I think we should draw the line.
Abrego Garcia. You remember that name? You recognize it. It's been one of the stories we have followed throughout the course of the year. Well, remember, his case has become a flashpoint in President Trump's aggressive effort to remove non-citizens from the United States. Well, he was today.
Good morning, David, by the way. Good to see you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
Detained by immigration authorities in Baltimore to face renewed efforts to deport him after that brief period of freedom. Remember, he was released from detention just on Friday. He showed up for an ICE hearing today, a status check-in, so to speak, and he was detained by authorities yet again.
I agree with this statement 100%, Blair.
Pending deportation. Now, in the meantime, Fox News' Conor Hansen has more on his plate. Let's watch.
A large
Look at
crowd
this shit.
gathered
Look at this shit. This is him right here. This is Garcia right here.
outside ICE offices in Baltimore, where Kilmar Abrego Garcia was arrested again.
God will bring justice to all the injustice we are suffering.
Wah.
Bruh.
ICE now wants to send the El Salvadoran national to Uganda, but a judge temporarily blocked the agency from deporting him.
It's a tremendous yo-yo of emotions for them. I mean, to have him back after so many months, after being...
This guy again, Jesus. This guy yesterday was the worst. Like, who paid you? Who paid you? Someone paid you to do this. It's all political theater.
So worried, going from not even knowing whether he's dead or alive to having him back and then to have him ripped away so cruelly and so quickly.
Abrego Garcia found himself at the center of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown after he was deported.
Frank, I'm way ahead of you. I'm already a full left-handed joint ahead of you, kind sir. As well as we got Papa Penguin up in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. And he says that dude looks like he eats a bag of Richards on the regular. Shit, motherfucker, shit.
To El Salvador. He was in the U.S. illegally, but a court ruled years ago that he could not be returned to his home country because of fears of gang violence. But the White House insists he is a member of the violent MS-13 gang. Since returning to the U.S., he's been charged with human smuggling in Tennessee, stemming from a 2022 traffic.
What's up, Six Full? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well.
He will no longer terrorize
Six
our
Soul.
country. The guy needs to be in prison. He doesn't need to be on the streets like all these liberals want him to be.
After he was released from jail Friday before his trial, Abrego Garcia spent the weekend with his family in Maryland. Kilmar Abrego Garcia turned down a government deal that would have had him deported to Costa Rica in exchange for...
Oh, he would have gone to Costa Rica? Oh, dude. Why didn't he take that deal? What a retard, bro.
Stupid.
That's retard moment.
Bruh.
Jesus.
pleading guilty to those human smuggling charges. In New York, Conor
What's up,
Hansen,
Steve Posey?
Fox News.
My man, great to see you, by the way. Good morning, good morning. All right, so we don't need an analysis, someone explaining that all. We're going to go ahead and move on into the next ordeal. All right. All right, let's go and bring up the next ordeal. Trump says he's removing federal governor Lisa Cook. All right, let's go and figure out what's happening.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. So I have to talk about the makeup of the Federal Board of Reserve Governors. So this is what we know. Take a look at this.
This was late last night, by the way.
Learning that President Trump, he has fired Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook.
Oh, he actually did fire her. I thought he just said he was going to remove her.
Today, a surprise move constituting a sharp escalation in his battle
Right,
to exert
David?
greater control over what has long been considered an institution independent from day-to-day politics. You see there. So this is what we know. Trump said in a letter posted on his Truth Social. Let's put this up for you. That's the
That's
letter
awesome,
there.
Hook Dog.
So he said he is removing Cook because of allegations she committed mortgage fraud. Now, Bill Pulte, a
She
Trump
did mortgage fraud? What, on her own house?
appointee to the agency that regulates mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, made the accusations last week. In just a moment, you're going to hear a statement from him as well. Pulte alleged Cook had claimed two primary residences in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Atlanta in 2021 to get better mortgage terms.
What's up, Todd J, by the way? Good morning and happy Topless Taco Tuesday. And yes, stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Shit.
Mortgage rates are often higher on second homes or those purchased to rent. Now, the announcement came days after Cook said she would not leave the 7-member Fed board.
Oh, wow. And so she's refusing, just like what Gary said right there. He fired her, but she refuses to leave. How does that fucking work? How does that work out for people when they're at a job and their boss comes up to them and they're like, yeah, you're fired. And you're like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. What are you going to do about it? I'm still going to work here. Stupid fuck. That's crazy. How does that even work? Real quick, we got Rabbit of Chaos coming in and hanging out with us. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Good to see you. And happy Topless Taco Tuesday.
For her to resign. Senate Democrats had expressed support for Cook. The Federal Reserve has tremendous responsibility for setting interest rates and regulating reserve member banks. The American people must have the full confidence in the honesty of the members entrusted with setting policy and overseeing the Federal Reserve. That's what Trump wrote in a letter addressed to Cook, a copy of which he posted online. You're seeing it there, saying, in light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot, and I do not have such confidence in your integrity. Now, Trump did argue firing Cook was constitutional, even if doing so will raise questions about control of the Fed as an independent entity. Now, the president wrote in the letter to Cook saying, I've determined that faithfully enacting the law requires your immediate removal from office. Now, as you know,
yeah, of course.
We've documented here on Live Now many times, almost every time Trump has said, or it's been reported that he has said, or others around him have said, that he wants to fire the chairman of the board, Jerome Powell.
How does she come anywhere close to saying that Trump doesn't have the authority to fire her? Are you fucking serious, bro?
Bruh.
What a retard. Seriously.
But taking it this step further today, saying he is removing one of the members of the Fed board, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, over these allegations. Now, the question is, and we're going to be bringing on legal analysts to talk about this throughout the week, whether or not he has the authority to do so. He believes he has the authority to do so, but I would imagine that remains to be seen here. So this is Lisa Cook. She was in Jackson Hole in Wyoming just on Friday at the Fed symposium. You see her there with Jerome Powell. So kind of the chief instigator of all of this is Bill Pulte. He is the chairman of this federal agency that sets mortgage rates and is the key regulator of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. That's the FHFA. That's the Federal Housing Finance Agency. We have a statement in.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. The Fed governors serve a 14-year term, which is insane, by the way. And none of them have been fired by the president. That's fucking interesting. Holy shit. Real quick, we got Mount High up in the building saying likes for Mike and morning all, and like button and left-handed tobacco all around. Yes, sir. Great to see you up in the building. We definitely have our left-handed tobacco ready on deck. I've been waiting for you to show up so we can bust it out. Shit. Let's go and get it. Feels ultra good. Hit that like button, everybody. Let's get the likes up. All right, back to this.
From Pulte, and I want to put this up because this is how he responded to the news. Remember, he has been urging this throughout this entire saga here. Bill Pulte saying, U.S. federal housing statement on the firing of Lisa Cook, saying, thank you, President Trump, for your commitment to stopping mortgage fraud and following the law. Saying, if you commit mortgage fraud in America, we will come after you no matter who you are. That's Bill Pulte. So back out live there to the U.S. Capitol. We are getting some reaction on Capitol Hill. I have in front of me a statement in by Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat from Massachusetts. So this is on the other side. We tell every side, every angle of stories. You know that. Warren says this, quote, the illegal attempt to fire Lisa Cook is the latest example of a desperate president.
Wow, real quick. Papa Penguin says the Federal Reserve Act says the president can remove her for cause. So meaning just cause, basically. pretty sure that means criminal shit. Absolutely, it definitely would be. I mean, you take $5 that in like, hey, yeah, you stole $5. The cause right there. Boom. Just cause. Boom. See ya.
Searching for a scapegoat to cover for his own failure to lower costs for Americans. It's an authoritarian power grab that blatantly violates the Federal Reserve Act.
You know what's funny about it, Steve? Easy, and I'm gonna be totally honest. But it is what it is, right? I didn't even know this chick. I mean, I've heard of Lisa Cook a couple of times, handful of times, but I never really figured out her position, what the Fed governor actually does. Is that specific to DC, or is it the governor that runs all governors? Like, how does it work? See, this is something that's out of my scope and something that I should definitely, but this is why I'm talking about it and why I'm asking, because you guys are always out there. Someone knows. We got Dallas up in the building as well, saying, good morning, Mike. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning, your Topless Taco Tuesday, my man. Great to see you.
And must be overturned in court. So in the meantime, that was Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat there from Massachusetts, with her reaction to how this all went down. I also have in front of me the letter from President Trump to Lisa Cook saying that he will fire her. In the meantime, we do have...
He said, I will be firing you, bitch. I already fired you, but I'm letting you know that I still mean what I said. I'm firing you, stupid.
Stupid.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Okay, we have a statement. This is just coming in from Cook herself. Kyle Cheney there at Politico with it.
Oh, this is actually from her.
Cook saying she's not going anywhere, and Trump's bid to fire her is baseless.
Is baseless. Oh my fucking God. Dude.
Oh my God!
These fucking retards, dude.
So I have a statement in from Lisa Cook. She says, President Trump purported to fire me for cause. No cause exists under the law. He has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I have been doing.
What's up, Christopher Collins, by the way? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well.
Since 2022. Now, her attorney, Abby Lowell, saying this. President Trump is taking to social media to once again fire by tweet. And once again...
So that's all she does? But does she oversee the Federal Reserve, or does she just have a seat at the Federal Reserve? Like, you know what I mean?
And
how's
his
that
reflex
work?
to bully is flawed. And his demands lack any proper process, basis, or legal authority, saying we will take whatever actions are needed to prevent his attempted illegal action. So you'll probably remember, or at least that name is familiar to you, Abby Lowell. He was Hunter Biden's attorney throughout his 2 indictments all throughout last year. Back out live there to the Capitol. Had to get all of that in here on this extremely busy Monday night.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on into the next here. We're going to move into Israel. It says Israel regrets deadly mishap at Gaza's Nasser hospital, Netanyahu says. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys. This is regarding the, was it 4 journalists and a cameraman that unfortunately died yesterday in over there in Gaza. They were reporting on some shit, and they were in a building, and they got airstruck, it looked like, and of course they all died. So apparently they're talking about some mishap here. I don't know. I haven't watched any of this. I haven't watched any of this shit, but we're going to find out together.
All right, President Trump there signing the proclamation. Really can't believe it's been 4 years since the devastating...
What's up, Marilyn? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Great to see you here. And hopefully you guys hit that like button as well as enjoy the morning with us, man.
A terror bombing, remember, by ISIS-K outside the Kabul airport, Abbey Gate. The bombing was known as, killing 13 U.S. service members, scores of Afghan civilians trying to flee the Taliban takeover of their country back in August of 2021. So let's stay, though, in the Middle East. We want to bring into the conversation President of the Union for Reform Judaism, Rabbi Rick Jacobs, to discuss some of these strikes, mishaps. Prime Minister Netanyahu, that's how he's describing them, against a key hospital in the Gaza Strip just today. The Rabbi joins me. Rabbi Jacobs, thanks for being with us here. I just have to ask you this. You and I talk so much about, more...
Real quick, Papa Penguin says, the Fed prints the money. I've been in the room with folks from the Fed once. They embody the phrase, the banality of evil. Oh, shit, man. I believe you. I believe you. And Blair, I 100% agree with that, way to resolve that is, it's quite simple. Just don't pay her. And she can go ahead and try to, fight for lost wages. Well, yeah, that's great. You're going to lose, but let's go ahead and just do that. You know what I mean? And you can go ahead and fight for lost wages and whatever, firing, let go, whatever, unlawful. You can go ahead and try to fight it. And if you happen to win, then we'll pay you. How about that? But until then, fuck off.
Moral equivalency in this war. Who has the moral high ground? How can Israel maintain the moral high ground if mistakes like this are made?
Well, Andrew, war is a hellish proposition. We know that in so many cases, and this is no exception. There is no doubt.
See you. What's up, Anson? Nice to see you up in the building. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well, my man.
Today was a tragedy, and the Prime Minister of Israel said it was a tragic misstep. I say just a human tragedy. And if you have a heart and if you have a conscience, you're pained by it. And yet, at the same time, this war continues and continues. And an overwhelming group of Israelis will be in the streets tomorrow protesting yet again. There is a hostage deal reportedly on the table for Israel to accept or reject.
That was the ordeal right there, by the way.
There is a hostage.
So this is the reporters right here. This is the journalists themselves. And I'm sure some of you guys have seen this on social media already, but this is not meant for you. This is meant for the people that have not seen it yet. And not really sure what's happening here. It looks like there was, a missile or not a missile, an airstrike or some sort, whatever happened there. And they're going up there to investigate and probably help people in this situation. And, when you're in a war zone, you're sitting there documenting people that are dying and what's happening there. It's tragic. And then all of a sudden, these guys all get blown up right here.
Deal reportedly
Watch.
On the table for Israel to accept.
Gone. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Or reject. And there are.
One was a reporter for Reuters. One was a reporter for, wasn't Al Jazeera, was it? Was it Al Jazeera? Can't remember. But anyways, totally tragic. And a cameraman.
A majority of Israelis who say it is time to bring those hostages home to end the war. And then missteps like this will not happen. But Gaza is certainly still.
I don't know. I'm waiting for them to explain the position of this being a deadly mishap. And Netanyahu says this, and I don't know what the claim is yet. I'm not sure why this has happened. It says, by the way, the headline says, Israel's strike at Gaza hospital kills at least 20, including 5 journalists. So it wasn't just those 5 journalists that died. There was also 15 other, I'm pretty damn sure, going to be innocent people.
The victim of Hamas, everybody knows that. But Israel is a country with a strong moral foundation, so it accepts responsibility. It must accept responsibility to be a side there and to make sure that humanitarian aid gets in, and that's still in crisis. So there's so many things that cause us pain. This mistaken bombing of the hospital adds pain on top
it's actually the number since October of 2023 is 192 now. Total journalists that have been unalived over there during this war.
Pain.
So I just want to put this up from Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today.
What's up, Josie? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Great to see you up in here. I'm sorry that I don't know how to pronounce your name because I'm an illiterate fuck,
Stupid.
But hey, I always appreciate you hanging out with us.
At the Nasser Hospital in Gaza, saying Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians.
Gunpowder Nitro?
The military
Good morning.
authorities are conducting a thorough investigation. Our wars with Hamas terrorists, our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home here. What would that investigation look like? I know the IDF and Israel has mounted these investigations throughout the course of this war. What does it usually look like? Do we know?
Well, there have been investigations before this one.
My man, Pathkiller. All right, real quick. Israel deepest regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today at Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians.
Stop the cap.
The military authorities are conducting a thorough investigation. Our war is with Hamas terrorists, as it should be. Yes, you're right. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. not against journalists and civilians. Come on, man. Anyways, our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home. Well, that should be just the only things that you should be focusing on. I agree. I agree with the statement of and the goal of defeating Hamas and bringing the hostages home. I agree. But you're doing all this other extra shit that we're not, you're starting to lose our support, you know what I mean? And some of this shit, it's like, fuck, man. If you're going to do it at least right, man. But you're just fucking them up.
It's yet another tragic one. It's hard to do an investigation in the midst of war, but an army that is a army that's guided by Ruach HaTzahal, which is the code of ethics for the conduct of war, has to have an investigation, has to bring accountability, and has to make sure to prevent such acts.
What's up, Brother Slim? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Great to see you up in the beauty.
In the future. If you think, Andrew, for a moment about the length of this war, we're coming up on 2 years. And the Prime Minister has announced that in just next week, 60,000 additional...
Josephus. I got you. Josephus. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Are going to be called up to begin the occupation of Gaza City, which is one of the most populated parts of the Gaza Strip, in an effort to either bring pressure on Hamas to come to the table and bring a credible hostage deal, or to somehow rid Hamas from every corner of the Gaza Strip. Either way, this is a fundamental moment where an investigation is called for, but mostly there is a loud cry to end this war and to bring the hostages home, get humanitarian aid into the Strip in the amounts that are needed, and to end this this horrific and deadly chapter in this endless war against Hamas.
So I guess my question is, where do we go from here? I mean, where is the status right now of the ceasefire talks, the hostage negotiations, if at all? I mean, I know the Witkoff framework is still viable. At least the Israeli War Cabinet is somewhat considering that still. Hamas has accepted some kind of iteration of the Witkoff proposal. How far apart are they right now?
I agree, Blair. Just do it and get it over with, or whatever you're going to just do it. But don't fucking sit here and do this bullshit back and forth, like in between. It's one way or the other, bro. You're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing.
Andrew, I don't think anybody really knows. If they do know, they're not speaking. It's clear that the Witkoff framework, which actually goes back in some ways to the Biden framework, which is to say ceasefire, bring home as many hostages as you can. Israel has maintained it needs to get all the hostages home. Are there 10 alive? The President of the United States said there are a few more that have died. We don't know that for a fact. But what we do know is that the time is running out for these hostages. I was there a few weeks ago. I met who had been freed. I met with many families, hostages who are still in Gaza, and they are literally out of hope. Their loved ones are hanging on by a thread. And so there is not so much time to be
I can't
wondering
even
and,
imagine.
Hoping for. This is a time for action.
It's so fucked. There's no real word to explain it. I can't even empathize being a hostage. I can't even put into context how hardcore that is. That's got to be one of the most fucked up things ever.
Are demanding that action. The hostage families are at the center of that demand. And I believe that the Prime Minister has so many things weighing on him. He's got his right wing saying, if you don't continue and get every Hamas fighter.
What's up, brother Ron Rowdy down there from down under, my man? Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Wednesday morning for you. Isn't that fucking crazy to think about over here? It's Tuesday morning.
They will leave the government. Benny Gantz, who's a member of the opposition, said, I will bring my party and others to make up for those that might leave. We need to bring these hostages home. So there's so many moves that are being contemplated, but I think the overwhelming sense is time has run out for these hostages. It is time to hold Hamas accountable. They could have ended this war almost 2 years ago. They did not. But here's where we are, and it's a moment for courageous leadership. I pray the Israeli government will have that courageous leadership. I have no confidence Hamas will, and we need the President of the United States to continue to exert the right amount of pressure, because he said in 2 to 3 weeks this will be over. He actually has the ability to make that happen.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. How long? Yeah, it's going to be all over in 2-3 weeks. I highly fucking doubt that. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. U.S. officials discuss Middle East tensions. We're going to go ahead and just skip through this a little bit because we have the most, most importantly, I would like to be able to get this Trump holds the cabinet meeting ordeal, but he still hasn't. They're 39 minutes late. There's an update in the chat from Fox themselves saying, update, we are waiting on the meeting to begin. Stream will start promptly, but unfortunately they still haven't even started. So anyways, we have 3 more stories to get through here. This whole ordeal, let's see if this is worthy of being able to listen to. If not, then we'll just go move into Trump talking about Putin. Of course, Putin, I guess, is avoiding a meeting with Zelensky, and Trump says, quote, he doesn't like him. So it's going to be interesting for damn sure. But let's go ahead and bring up this ordeal. U.S. officials discuss Middle East tensions.
7:07 on the East Coast and 4:07 over
We're not
on
going
the
to
West
listen to the whole
Coast.
thing.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Carla Hara. Moving on to another event that kicked off way early this morning. Taking a look here at a post from U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham here on X, saying a very special and moving opportunity to pay my respects at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon, to fallen.
Wait, why do you think you got fucked? He says, I hate Ohio. I traded my truck in. So you traded your truck in for another truck, or what happened? And you think you got fucked. There is no recourse for me sucks. There's always a recourse. What are you talking about? There's always a recourse. I mean, at least if you bought it from a dealer. But if you did a straight trade with somebody or something like that, that's harder to deal with. But let me know what you ended up doing and let us know, man. And you can explain in the Discord too if you'd like it to be in there.
U.S. Marines and others who died in service of their country. They made the ultimate sacrifice, and we should all be eternally grateful. We did hear some comments from the senator as well as other U.S.
Brother GEG, good morning, good morning.
Officials early this morning coming from Lebanon. Let's watch.
Disarming Hezbollah is not coming from me, it's coming from the Lebanese people. The Lebanese military seems to be the one institution in the country everybody's proud of.
Thank God they fixed that fucking microphone. Jesus.
So what did we learn today?
Like, bad audio actually gets me emotionally damaged.
Emotional damage! We're appropriators and Congressman, the funders, we have the money. So Congressman Wilson is very involved in securing America. And the best way to secure America is to have good partners. And the best way to have a good partner.
You can absolutely do a recourse on that, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, if it can't pull your shit, and they even told you that you could be able to pull it and you can't, go back and tell them, fuck no, dude, I can't even move my shit with you sold me on some bullshit. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But it's up to you to be able to press the issue. Everyone kind of thinks like, oh, fuck, I just got to take the hit now kind of thing. No, dude, you can definitely handle that situation. Just letting you know.
Partners have a military that's loyal to the people, not to a particular sect within the people. And Hezbollah is not loyal to the people. Hezbollah's agenda is not Lebanon's agenda. Hezbollah has an agenda inconsistent with you thriving and surviving. So I think you as a people, the Lebanese people, overwhelmingly want a better future. They want a future where the Palestinian militias are disarmed. They want a future where Hezbollah is disarmed, and that the people carrying arms are the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army is trusted to take care of everybody's interests, regardless of sect. If you can pull that off, that would be the biggest accomplishment in modern history of Lebanon. This is a challenge. Iran is its weakest. Iran is up to no good, but their capability is tremendously diminished. You have an opening here. Saudi Arabia is openly talking about maybe one day having a relationship with Israel. I hope that day will come. So my advice, when Israel leaves the 5 points, that really, the discussion is what happens when...
Bro, what's it to you if they get along with Israel? I mean, come on, bro. Like, listen, I'm someone that is America... Like, this whole America First agenda, this is something I even wrote about and posted about. Like, America First? Nah, motherfucker, it's America only. You know what I mean? Anyways, no disrespect to any other country. I'm just saying that it should be only our decisions in the United States and our money should be for the best interest of the American people. That's it. America only. Anyways, back to this ordeal. We're going to be now getting into Trump. Putin avoiding meeting with Zelensky. Quote, he doesn't like him. Let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys and let's go ahead and discuss.
I do want to go international at this hour as we take a live look over Moscow. This is coming in from EarthCam.
Yo, Dragon Classy, good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
You can see a cloudy day right now as President Trump says Russian President Vladimir Putin is hesitant to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Russia's top diplomat adding that's because the meeting cannot happen until some of Moscow's long-standing demands are met to end the conflict. A lot to discuss. As always, let's bring in a friend of the show here. We do have Brian Taylor, a political science professor at Syracuse University, also the director of the Moynihan Institute of Global Affairs. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. As always, Brian, we appreciate it.
Morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, first off, I did want to ask you, an in-person meeting between Presidents Putin and Zelensky, it's something that's been discussed quite a bit. Is it appearing that it is a reality that it could happen in the coming days, weeks, or even months?
I don't think Putin-Zelensky meeting is particularly realistic. The Russians have made pretty clear.
Wow. He's even saying that this whole ordeal now is looking pretty unrealistic.
That they would only be willing to meet directly with President Zelensky if it was a surrender ceremony, basically.
Only if it was a surrender, an act of surrender.
You know, if you recall back to when the war started, the full-scale invasion back in February 2022, Putin referred to Zelensky as a drug addict and a neo-Nazi. He clearly dislikes him, and the feeling is reciprocated by President Zelensky, who obviously doesn't like President Putin, who launched this massive full-scale war against Ukraine. So I don't see any real prospect for a meeting unless we're at the point where there's an actual agreement ready to be signed, and we're so far away from that right now. I think talk of a meeting is very premature.
And on that same note, I did want to ask you, is there any indication after President Trump met with Putin there over in Alaska and then met with Zelensky a few days later in person at the White House, is there any indication that the war is closer to coming to an end than it was maybe days, weeks, months, or a couple years?
Before he answers that, real quick, we got brother Frederick Frame up in the building. Shout out to my man. Great to see you.
To be perfectly honest, no, I don't think there's been a whole lot of progress made. I think from the Russian point of view, they intend to continue to prosecute the war until they have some degree of control over Ukraine. That's been the goal all along, not just about a specific piece of territory. And Ukraine remains equally determined to protect their independence and sovereignty. So that's the big picture difference between the two sides. And it's hard to see how to bridge those. You know, there were talk about land swaps and things like that, but ultimately, Russia wants control that it doesn't have, and Ukraine refuses to give it. So unless that changes, we're far away from an agreement.
Damn, man, this shit is just... I wish it would just end, of course, but... And I had zero confidence, actually, that... And you guys can go back on my video if, you know, you weren't there for me to say it. But... Trump interjecting, is it going to bring actual peace? Do we have any actual hope that there's going to be some sort of resolution from this? And I told you guys, realistically, I don't think it's going to bring any type of peace or agreement. Unfortunately, I just don't think that Trump has that kind of influence over Putin.
And I do want to take a live look once again over Moscow there in Russia, as I asked you a question that a lot of people have asked. What sort of influence does President Trump really have over...
Oh, I just fucking said that shit.
Oh, shit! Oh,
Putin and Zelensky, and an end to the war that's been going on now for more than 3 years?
I just answered that.
President of the United States, in principle, does have a lot of tools at his disposal to influence the course of the war. I would note that President Trump had been insisting for quite some time on a ceasefire before peace talks. He has now backed away from that position, which is consistent with Putin's position that there shouldn't be a ceasefire while talks are going on. And President Trump has continually threatened sanctions against Russia, you know, every 2 weeks kind of thing, but has not enacted any new sanctions under his presidency. So those are two of his levers. He hasn't used them. Another major lever would be U.S. military assistance to Ukraine, but that is not one that President Trump is inclined to use. And in fact, the Pentagon seems to be holding back permission for Ukraine to use certain long-range strike weapons inside Russia. So all of the potential tools that the U.S. president has to try and bring Putin to the negotiating table really are not being used at the moment. Therefore, I don't see any prospect of a change in the situation in the coming weeks and months.
I want to pop up this post here on Truth Social coming in from President Donald Trump as we're talking about that aspect here.
Okay, so Trump posted this.
He says it is very hard, if not impossible, to win a war without attacking an invader's country. It's like a
Now, mind you, this is only 2 hours ago this was being reported. So this is brand new.
A great team in sports that has a fantastic defense but is not allowed to play offense. There's no chance of winning. It's like that with Ukraine and Russia. Crooked and grossly incompetent Joe Biden would not let Ukraine fight back, only defend. How did that work out? Regardless, this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance. Interesting times ahead. What do you make of that post overall when you look at that in context of the situation there between Russia and Ukraine?
There are actually two different ways I can think of to interpret that post. One is that Ukraine has no chance of winning, and so therefore it should seek to make a deal. But a different way of interpreting it is that Ukraine needs to strike Russia much harder than it has been so far. But if that's the case, then President Trump should look into the limits that his own Defense Department has put on Ukrainian use of missile strikes on Russia. So if he is signaling a change in course in which the U.S. will give a lot more permission and a lot more weapons for Ukraine to hit Russia directly, then that would be significant news. But honestly, I don't think that's what that means. I would be more inclined to interpret it as Trump saying, look, Ukraine, you don't really have a chance of winning, so you should make a deal now. That would be the way I would read that.
Well, I think that is kind of the way that he's put it to Zelensky. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on into now. Duffy unveils CDL English rules after illegal migrant makes the deadly U-turn. So let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys so we can present this to you guys. Here we go. And real quick, before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button. We got to get the likes up. Always appreciate your guys' contributions to the channel, by the way. Thank you for your engagement in the chat and hanging out with us, by the way. I always appreciate your guys' thoughts as well.
Trump, for his leadership in the executive order that he made clear that we're going to put safety in America first on our roadways. We appreciate his leadership. By way of taking a trip down memory lane, it was in May that DOT put out a rule that indicated that we were going to take out of service truck drivers who were not proficient in speaking the English language. We announced that in May, and it was going to go in, it did go into effect at the end of.
Listen, even in shipping, the officers that are driving the ships and shit like that, they have to speak what? A universal language. Yes, an international language that is spoken. And do you know what that language is? It's fucking English. Yeah. So I agree that everyone should be able to speak English and everyone can understand each other. Fucking A. There should be across the line, everyone has to be able to at least communicate this way. We have to fall back on what? Communication. Right. Anyways, back to
June. Now, when we did that, there was a lot of press that complained to us that we were being unfair to people, that we were being mean to people. And what we said was, no, this is a safety issue. Making sure drivers of very heavy 80,000-pound rigs can speak the language is truly a critical safety issue. And some complained about it. We implemented it at the end of June, and all of us in America saw what happened in Florida, where we had an individual who we tested this individual after the crash, but no doubt could not speak the English language and could not understand road signs when he was operating that very deadly rig.
If he can't even understand the signs, bro.
And so we at DOT and Federal Motor Carriers, we are not going to tolerate states that don't comply with the rules that come from this department. And so we are going to, first of all, we've identified several states that have not been in compliance. That would be Washington, California, and New Mexico.
Wow, I'm actually surprised on the New Mexico thing. That's pretty interesting.
Three states that have not complied with this rule, which, by the way, this driver in Florida had received a CDL in Washington, California, and was pulled over in July for speeding, and no doubt couldn't speak the English language. And law enforcement in New Mexico did not take his rig out of service. So this one driver touched all three states. based on our review, they are not complying with our rule. And so phase one for us, which I'm announcing today, is we are going to give these states 30 days to come into compliance with truck drivers speaking proficiently the English language, or we're going to look at federal funding that they receive under the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program. So I believe California is 20 million or 30 million? 30 million. Washington is 10 million, and New Mexico is 7 million. Jesse will confirm that in a second, but these are millions of dollars. By the way, this is phase one. There are other actions that we can take to make sure states comply, and hopefully in the next 30 days we won't have to withhold any money from them, but if they don't come into compliance, we will start with withholding this money, and then we will take additional steps to guarantee compliance. And this is not, just to be clear, this is not just about saying we have some obscure rule that we want them to comply with, that truck drivers speak English proficiently. This is about keeping people safe on the road. Your families.
I agree.
Your kids, your spouses, your loved ones, your friends, we all use the roadway. And we need to make sure that those who are driving big rigs, semis, can understand the road signs, that they've been well trained, and that when they're pulled over by law enforcement, they're stopped by law enforcement, or there's a crash and law enforcement responds, they can effectively communicate what they have on their rig. There might be a history that they have to be able to communicate to law enforcement when they're pulled over or there's an accident. And if they can't do that, that creates a significant issue for the traveling public. And so this is step one. And again, we hope there'll be compliance in the next 30 days. If not, we'll take additional steps. With that, I do want to turn it over to our chief counsel from Motor Carriers, Jesse.
No, we don't need to do that. We got what Duffy needed to say right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough. Unfortunately, let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm looking at regarding this whole holds Trump doing the cabinet. We did our entire hour. This was scheduled, by the way, for 10 a.m. my time, which was 56 minutes ago. And unfortunately, the meeting has not started. So we're going to have to give you guys highlights of this tomorrow if there's anything big that's been, taken away from this cabinet meeting, which I'm sure there will be. I'm sure we'll be discussing it tomorrow morning. But ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for making these very shows happen. I can't do this shit without you guys. So big W to you guys making this shit happen. And listen, until tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness, I always appreciate you guys. Much love, honor, respect. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be raiding our buddy Glenn Lawrence. So make sure you guys let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. So stick around for that. Here we go. Much love, honor, respect, everybody, and God bless. Shit.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his step, refusing to submit.